Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing, topping our newscast. The upper levels of the MAP administration is going through changes again. Within the past week, there have been one controversial termination within the Department of Justice and one quiet resignation of an island administrator. One of these could land the governor in a messy lawsuit for wrongful termination and defamation of character. News 2's April Knight has that story.
Another minor shakeup in the MAP administration. Last week Friday, Governor Kenneth Mapp fired Special Assistant Attorney General Laverne Mills Williams. Mills Williams, now known as a whistleblower, was involved in leaking information to local media on the governor's credit card spending habits. The same day on Friday, Governor Mapp sent a letter to Acting Attorney General Claude Walker to execute the termination and to Mills Williams herself. According to Mapp, the Special Assistant AG was being terminated for her association with St. Croix attorney Lee Rohn, whom Mapp described as a convicted criminal with known connections to drug dealers. Rohn is said to be filing a lawsuit against Governor Mapp for firing Mills Williams as well as for defamation of her character. Meanwhile, more recently, another position was vacated when St. Thomas Administrator Lawrence Bisholta decided to step down. Government House made the announcement but stated no reason for Bisholta's resignation. As for his replacement,
I believe that the governor and the chief of staff will address that issue in the next few days.
According to Government House spokesperson Kim Jones, there are also individuals in assistant and advisory positions who are either stepping in temporarily or are being eyed for the post.
Frankie Johnson, who is senior advisor to the governor, also oversaw those administrator positions, so he's stepping in and helping out also.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
And News 2 will keep you updated on who's going to be stepping into Lawrence Bisholta's shoes as St. Thomas Administrator, as well as developments stemming from Mills Williams' termination. The Committee on Rules and Judiciary, chaired by Senator Kenneth Gittens, met at the Capitol building on Monday to consider the nominations of Joyce Dorr Griffin and Avery Challenger to serve as members on the board of the Virgin Islands Taxicab Commission. The nomination for Challenger received an unfavorable vote from committee members. However, lawmakers voted favorably for the nomination for Dorr Griffin. Both recommendations will be forwarded to the full body for further consideration. On Monday, November 16th at roughly 6:30 a.m., the 911 Emergency Call Center received notification from the U.S. Coast Guard of Puerto Rico reporting that the Rainbow Maker, a vessel that had been missing at sea since Sunday, November 15th, had been found on the southern side of Coral Bay. Upon inspection of that vessel, it was discovered empty with no occupants aboard. During further inspection of the general area, the body of a Caucasian male was discovered floating in the water shoreline. The vessel is registered to Vince Barnett of Coral Bay Harbor, who was last reported seen by area residents on Saturday, November 14th, 2015. Investigations continue. Well, here is an update. Travis Everett, 36 of Frederickstead, wanted for second-degree assault, was captured on Saturday, November 14th at 7:23 p.m. in the area of Queen's Quarters. You may remember we reported that police had been searching for Everett since Thursday, November 5th, 2015 for assaulting his wife, causing her visible injury. No bail was set for Travis Everett, and he was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections pending his advice of rights hearing. The names of the male and female who drowned on Sunday has been identified as Giorgio Bertrand and Lydia Lima. On Sunday, November 15th, police say a party of 5 adults were making their way to the Phipps landing dock located on Water Island to the docking facility at Crown Bay Marina. The 5 adults were traveling in a dinghy that struck a concrete piling. As they approached the marina, 2 members of the party, a man and woman, were thrown into the water once the dinghy struck the piling and drowned. The other 3 individuals were rushed to the hospital for treatment. Well, police say on Wednesday, November 11th, Kenson Plasmont, 35, was charged with brandishing and exhibiting a dangerous weapon at 9:11 a.m. after being observed as the individual walking aggressively with a 12-inch blade and swinging it towards oncoming traffic at Dunu Bypass Road. Plasmont's bail was set to $25,000 by order of the court, and he was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections pending his advice of rights hearing. On Friday, November 13th, at roughly 5:48 p.m., police say Heidi Marie Mills, 35, was arrested and charged with grand larceny after she was observed on video surveillance removing items from First Stop gas station. Bail for Mills was set at $35,000, and she was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections pending her advice of rights hearing. Also on Sunday, November 15th, Derek Mack, 57, of Tutu High Rise, was arrested and charged with aggravated assault and battery after he swung a fist at an officer while the officer was assessing a situation involving a disturbance of the peace. Derek Mack's bail was set at $3,000, and he was remanded to the Bureau of Corrections pending his advice of rights hearing. The National Transportation Safety Board has completed its search of the wreckage of the Faro without finding the ship's voyage data recorder. The 790-foot container ship with 33 crew members aboard sank off the Bahamas on October 1st during Hurricane Joaquin. Using specialized sonar equipment, the U.S. Navy located the Faro in 15,000 feet of water. Video showed the navigation bridge and the deck below it became separated. The NTSB said it wasn't able to locate the voyage data recorder, which would have provided investigators with valuable information on the ship's final moments. The Faro was en route from Jacksonville to Puerto Rico. Despite an intensive search, no survivors were found. Meanwhile, all eyes are still on the repercussions of the deadly terrorist attack that happened in Paris last week Friday. The city itself is in mourning, but all around the world, a series of reactions are being triggered, and their effects are being felt in the Caribbean and the Virgin Islands. NEWS2's April Knight has more.
In the wake of the Paris attacks that killed more than 100 people on Friday, the world is reeling in response, and a lot of it manifests in fear. A growing number of largely Republican governors have closed their doors to Syrian refugees, while other states have extended open arms.
We see the dangers that were caused by Syrian refugees in Paris. It is imperative that Texas do everything we can to ensure that we don't have a Syrian refugee sneak into the state of Texas who can pose a similar terroristic danger.
In the Virgin Islands, there's a mix of defiance, a refusal to surrender to fear, and also concern, including in the French community. And then on Saturday, 3 men believed to be Syrian nationals were arrested in St. Martin for carrying fake Greek passports, an incident that for some brings the threat closer to home.
St. Martin is less than an hour away from here. So we're feeling the effects of what we're hearing on the news.
Members of the local French community have paid their respects to the victims and families of the Paris attacks.
Lighting candles on our Eiffel Tower outside and making people aware that yes, we are French and we are concerned about what affects French people. In fact, what affects all people around the world in this crazy day that we live in today.
At least 21 governors so far, an overwhelming percentage of them Republican, have expressed their refusal to allow Syrian refugees within their jurisdictions. Here's more.
Absolutely not. No, this is not normal. It will not be normal. It will not become normal. This is an aberration, but it is a reflection of what foreign fighters have been able to do, going to Syria and then coming back and being able to spread their vile ideology to other people or even through the social media.
The prospect of bringing Syrian refugees into the United States has become a polarizing topic, and Andrew Spencer reports Republican presidential candidates have come out strongly on one side.
President Barack Obama made it very clear how he feels about the idea of accepting Christian but not Muslim refugees.
That's shameful. That's not American. It's not who we are.
But Senator Ted Cruz, the son of Cuban refugees who fled to the United States, defended such a religious test for refugees coming out of Syria.
There is no doubt that millions of people are suffering from the rise of radical Islamic terrorism. Christians are suffering, Jews are suffering, and other Muslims are suffering.
But you're
They're
saying
being
Muslims
persecuted.
shouldn't be allowed in the U.S.?
What I'm saying is Syrian Muslim refugees should be resettled in the Middle East, in majority Muslim countries.
Several Republican presidential candidates have come out strongly against the U.S. accepting refugees from Syria.
I will oppose them coming. We should be relocating them in the region.
I do not believe that we should be bringing them here.
More than 24 governors, most of them Republican, have pledged not to accept refugees in their states.
We have simply instructed all of our state agencies not to process any paperwork or anything relating to that.
The director of the CIA says the U.S. should not isolate itself by closing off its borders.
That is inconsistent with what I think our societies have been founded on over the last several hundreds of years.
I'm Andrew Spencer, reporting.
Keeping our eye on the economy, here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. And according to the numbers there, you can see the Dow up at 6.49, NASDAQ up at 1.40, S&P 500 down. Coming up on News 2, the VI Idol finale was held last weekend. We'll bring you some highlights tonight, but we'll hear from the winner on Wednesday. That's coming up next. Welcome back. Lieutenant Governor Osbert Potter will be leaving the territory on November 18th to attend the National Association of Insurance Commissioners Fall 2015, the national meeting in National Harbor, Maryland. The fall meeting will host insurance regulators from numerous states, the District of Columbia, and the 5 U.S. territories. Lieutenant Governor Potter serves as the territory's Commissioner of Insurance. Through the NAIC, state insurance regulators establish standards and best practices, conduct peer review, and coordinate their regulatory oversight. In accordance with the revised Organic Act, Senate President Neville James will serve as acting Lieutenant Governor. Lieutenant Governor Potter will return to the territory on November 23rd. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Governor Potter announces the nomination of 4 individuals to the Virgin Islands Banking Board: Rosalie Javois, Richard E.W. Grant, Roy D. Jackson, CPA, and Laurel Hewitt Sewer. The term of service on the board is a period of 2 years per member, and in accordance with Title IX, Section 42 of the Virgin Islands Code, the Lieutenant Governor serves as chairman of the Virgin Islands Banking Board. Section 42 also allows for 5 other members to serve on the board. The remaining members include 4 members appointed by the governor with the advice and consent of the legislature, along with the Commissioner of Finance, who is an ex officio member and serves as secretary of the board. The Virgin Islands Department of Education, Insular Office of Insular Superintendent, St. Thomas St. John District, is notifying parents of the early dismissal of all public schools on Thursday, November 19th. They say dismissals will take place 3 hours before normal release times and are necessary to accommodate monthly job-embedded professional development for teachers. Lunch will be served before students are released, and buses will be dispatched to schools to transport students to their normal drop-off locations. Parents are asked to ensure students are properly supervised. And here are the following school dismissals and the time. Dover at 11:45 a.m., Janie Twitt at 11:35 a.m., Sibley School at 11:30 a.m., Lockhart at 11:45, EBO at 11:45, Gomez at 11:40, and Bowski at 11:40. Also there we can see Cancrine at 12, CAHS at 12:10, BCB 11:25, UDarken 11:50, Sproul at 12, and Abraham and Muller 11:40, 11:40, EWAA at 12:10. DPNR and the U.S. EPA, they're holding a conference on reducing pesticide use, and that free conference will be held on Wednesday, November 18th at the Charles W. Turnbull Regional Library on St. Thomas. Governor Kenneth Mapp, Commissioner Hendry, and Administrator Judith Ank will discuss the agency's partnership and efforts. Attendees will learn from experts on how to reduce the use of pesticides and how to use sustainable solutions for pest control. It will also cover the health issues associated with applying pesticides. Count on 2 will have highlights from that conference. Today was World Prematurity Day. The Juan F. Louise Neonatal Intensive Care, they held a parade for Prematurity Awareness Month on Sunday from Sunny Isle Shopping Center to the hospital. The second annual Juan F. Louise Preemie Parade featured former premature graduates as well as other former preemies, plus a family fun day was included. The procession was led by the Adventist Youth VI Pulse Drum Corps. Juan F. Louise physicians, nurses, and staff members were also present. There are a number of activities scheduled at the Juan F. Louise Hospital in support of the fight against premature births and to help raise money to support Juan F. Louise NICU, including some tours of the NICU. And the Juan F. Louise is lit in purple right now as a symbol of hope. Governor Kenneth Mapp has proclaimed Thursday, December 1st as World AIDS Day in the United States Virgin Islands. He urges all citizens to take part in activities and observances designed to increase awareness and understanding of HIV/AIDS in our community, and as a global challenge to take part in HIV/AIDS prevention activities and programs throughout the territory, and to join the global effort to prevent the future spread of HIV/AIDS. World AIDS Day is a day to remember those who have been lost to this deadly disease and give compassion and hope to those who live courageously with HIV/AIDS every day. In the Virgin Islands, there were 134 new diagnoses of HIV infection reported between 2008 and 2012. At the end of 2012, 576 people are living with HIV in the Virgin Islands. It has claimed the lives of 446 Virgin Islands residents since the epidemic began, according to a release from Government House. Well, after a lot of screening and sifting through some of the best VI talent, only one came out on top as the ultimate champion of the 2015 VI Idol Talent Competition. Kadeem Blyden won the judges over with a powerful rap number. Blyden is the first rapper to ever win that competition that has often favored power belters in the past. We will have more on the finale of the 2015 VI Idol in tomorrow's newscast. We will hear from some of the other contestants as well as the winners. Tune in to News 2. You might catch some of your favorite performers. Congratulations to Kadeem and his family. Stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.